Hey guys, it's Sammy. Welcome to my fourth and final podcast. I cannot believe we are at the end. I'm so grateful for everyone who stuck with me on this journey of human trafficking and learning more about this global issue. Thank you for all of the support and feedback I've gotten on this podcast. It means so much to me. Yeah, so let's get started. So today is a bit of a wrap-up day about human trafficking and to hit some final key points and to really just ingrain why human trafficking is such a big issue. So to recap about my past couple episodes, we've talked about the misconceptions of human trafficking, problems with technology and how it contributes to human trafficking, and then not knowing how big of a global issue human trafficking really is. And it's not just globally, it's also in your country or in your state. It's everywhere. Human trafficking happens everywhere. Just like how most people don't think that human trafficking happens to boys or men. They think that it only really happens to women and girls. And that's not the case. About 1/3 of the overall detected victims were children, both girls at 19% and boys at 15%, while there were 20% were adult men. Think about that. That's only a 4% difference between boys and girls. That proves that human trafficking can happen to anyone, people of all ages, any ethnicity, any gender, anyone. Human trafficking can happen to anyone. It's not selective. Traffickers are just going for the easiest target. So if that's a young boy, then that's a young boy. If that's a young girl, it's a young girl. Human trafficking can happen to people everywhere. And I think that's why it's such a huge problem. This kind of correlates with everything we've talked about in all the past episodes. That's a major misconception, that people think that it only happens to women. It goes back to technology because that's how the traffickers are getting to these people, through technology, through social media. And then how big of a problem it is by people not understanding that it can happen to them and thinking that it can only happen to this certain group of people or these people that are different from me, that it can only happen to them. That's what makes it such a big issue, because people don't realize that it can happen to them. And I think that's why I really want to do this podcast, is because I want everyone to realize that human trafficking is everywhere. It can happen to anyone, and that it's such a big issue. And I hope that this podcast can help make the tiniest difference, or just give people more knowledge about a topic that they didn't understand before. And I think we've done that so far. And again, that's only possible with you guys who are actually listening to me talk. So I can't thank you guys enough. But I also wanted to thank 2 Columbus police officers who are on the human trafficking task force that I talked to a while ago and who helped further my knowledge of human trafficking, Chris Boyle and Aaron Dennis, who both led me to researching more about human trafficking and finding out more amazing information and statistics over human trafficking to give to you guys. They helped me realize a bit of the behind the scenes, how the police deal with human trafficking, to see it from that perspective. And I'm so grateful I got to talk to them. By talking to them, I realized how much improvement we have made with trying to help human trafficking. Aaron Dennis was one of the first people on the human Trafficking Task Force in Columbus, Ohio. So he was there from the start. And I just think it's amazing that human trafficking has its own task force. We are trying to make it better. We are trying to limit the amount of human trafficking that goes on. That shows that we're all trying to contribute to this global issue and trying to limit it so it's not as big of a problem, which I think is amazing. And I think what can help to that is us, is you. It's people that are being more aware of it and can point it out, or if they see something that is suspicious, they can contact the human trafficking task force, wherever you're from, and let them know. And maybe they'll check it out. Maybe it's something, maybe it's not. But at least you saw it and you recognized it from your knowledge about human trafficking. And you realize that that could be a potential problem. And you may have just saved people's lives. So I think that's a reason why it's so important to learn about human trafficking. And I'm so happy you guys have all taken the time to listen to this podcast about human trafficking and really upgrade your knowledge. And I hope you continue to do that. And not just with human trafficking, with other global issues as well, like mental health and things like that, or food security, or poverty and things like that. Just really broadening your knowledge about global issues will really, A, make you appreciate what you have more, and B, realize that there are some major problems in our world, and it's going to be really hard to fix them, but a small impact can go a long way. And that's what I'm hoping this podcast is, a small impact. So again, I wanted to thank you all. I know I feel like I've been rambling for this last episode, but I just really wanted to get all of that to you guys. So I think that's all that I have for you guys. Thank you again for listening to this podcast, and I hope this helps you, and I hope this maybe made a difference in your life. Thank you to all of my Global Scholar advisors who have pushed me and helped me to post this podcast, and to everyone who has listened and contributed to helping me develop this podcast.